Hi everyone, it's Diana Nguyen here. I just wanted to do a quick video to talk to you, or I guess to remind people of the universal law of free will. So the inspiration for the video is pretty much something that I experienced probably about 2 weeks ago as I was sitting on the train going back up to Sydney from Wollongong. And I was pretty much had my energy interfered with, and I mean, it's otherwise known as psychic attacks, but I kind of feel like the term psychic attacks is a bit too strong because I feel that the interference with the energy or my energy was more subconscious and done innocently than with malice or with intent. So I'm going to take us back a while when I was studying the Diploma of Energy Healing. And at that point in time, one of my teachers had told me, once you start dabbling or once you start working in the field of energies, it's not all fun and games. And you should kind of be taking it a bit seriously in terms of what you're actually doing. And at that point in time, I kind of thought, what are you talking about? If we're dealing with energy and the intents or love and light and all that kind of stuff, then it doesn't really matter, But I think in the last couple of years, I've come to realize that it actually does matter. And, if you're going to be doing this sort of work, it's actually really, really important for you to respect it. Guess because as the more sensitive I get to energy, the more I feel when someone's trying to interfere with my energy, and it's not necessarily the greatest feeling, even though, as I said before, the intent of the person's most likely a really good one. But for me, it doesn't feel that great. So that comes back down to the whole concept of free will. So if you are going to be working on or, sending energy out to heal or to help someone, you should be always asking for their consent. Now, obviously, if they're not in the same room as you, it's really hard to. And so you ask the soul of that person whether or not, the soul is willing for you to send them some healing. Other people will kind of work with this concept in terms of when they give a healing, they're offering it up, but then it's up to that soul or the person to take it if they wish. So that's another nice way of doing it too. But by no means should you actually be imposing, or sending healing to a person when you don't actually have their consent. So I remember there was one time during energy healing in a student clinic that, I as a practitioner was there working on the client, and all of a sudden I was feeling some stuff around my legs going, okay, what's actually going on here? I ended up telling it to go away because I knew that it wasn't mine and I felt it was interfering with me. But at the end of the session, my client on the table pretty much said, oh yeah, you seemed really tired, so I'm a Reiki master and I was sending you some energy. And I was just, in my mind, I'm going, thanks for that, but it's not necessary. In other circumstances, I probably would have welcomed it, but not when I'm actually doing my work and not when it's interfering and distracting me, sort of thing. And with the instance on the train in Wollongong, I was just sitting there minding my own business. Then all of a sudden, I literally felt like I was being stabbed around my heart. And then my hands activated. And for me, spirit likes to take over my hands and my body sometimes when I'm working. And my hands automatically came up in almost like a protection sort of mudra. And then it was just like clearing stuff from me. And initially I was going, okay, what's going on here? Who is it? I think I found who it was. And it was quite interesting because all of the seats on the train were pretty much packed, but this person was sitting on a 3-seater by themselves and no one was sitting next to this person. It was really, really interesting. And yeah, I didn't feel like there was any malicious intent around it. However, the energy that was coming towards me was not a good feeling whatsoever. So it actually took me quite a while to be able to figure out what it was, and then just kind of say, actually, no, I don't give you any permission to come near me. Like, I was actually getting nauseous because of it as well. And then as soon as I said that, everything just lifted. So yeah, I think it's kind of like a little bit of a lesson that if you're beginning on your journey, or if you're, the type of person who really, really wants to help people, and I think at the end of the day, everyone's got that deep within their hearts, just always remember that you always need to have permission, or you should always ask permission from the person, or the soul, high self of the person, however you want to label it, to be able to receive that healing, as opposed to enforcing the healing, or enforcing those particular energetic signatures on that person, because when you do that, or if you don't do that, the effects that you might have on the other person may be a lot more detrimental than what you expected it to be. And it just comes from a place of, we're working in the quantum field, and anything can pretty much happen. So I just kind of want to issue that little bit of a caution when it comes to doing something like that. Always just have the intent to, offer it up, ask for consent, and if consent isn't provided, then honor that. There have been some cases where I know I had some really sick friends, and I would have loved to have sent them some distance healing or energy work, but when I tuned into their higher soul, I pretty much got a no, don't do anything. And you had to honor that, because that's actually part of their journey. We don't like seeing people experiencing hurt or being in pain, but sometimes that's there for a reason, and that's the person's journey to walk through and work with, and it's not our place to interfere with that. So just make sure that you really honor that for a person. Now, there are some people who are kind of sitting here going, oh, okay, so how am I supposed to know what a psychic attack, or when a person interferes with me? How do I know that? I think how you know that in the beginning is actually to have a really good awareness of yourself, how you feel, what your energy is like. And then when you do that, you'll be able to notice when something almost foreign starts to come into your aura or your energetic field. That's probably the best way I can describe it. Like I said before, sometimes I just kind of feel this weird fogginess or a wind that's sweeping around a certain area of my body. And other times I felt it like a literal stabbing attack. Which is quite interesting now that I'm actually getting something stuck in my throat. And other times, I'll feel nauseous, quite dizzy, and all that sort of thing. So when you perhaps feel any of those symptoms, the first thing to ask yourself is this actually me? And if you get the feeling back that it's not, then what you can do is just say, I give no permission for any other energies apart from my own to interfere with me, and see how you go there. And if you're inclined to ask your spirit guides or the angels or whatever to help you out, then feel free to do that. You can call on beings like Archangel Michael, who's great, to come in and to say, Archangel Michael, please protect me from energy interference if it's not for my highest and greatest good. And he will be there in an instant, and you will feel it. So I thought I'd just pop on and give you a quick chat about that, and I hope you're all well and have a great day. Bye.